Hey, everybody. On today's podcast, we have Paris Richardson, Miss Florida 2025. Paris is going to talk about her time being Miss Florida, her experiences in the Miss America Pageant, and being a Hall of Famer at the University of Florida, where she's a cheerleader. And she talks about the future, her time being a mentor-mentee, a wonderful program today, a wonderful interview, and a lot of fun. So I hope you'll listen to today's episode with Paris Richardson, Miss Florida 2025. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Todd's podcast. We have an incredible guest today. Her name is Paris Richardson. Paris is the Miss Florida 2025, our current Miss Florida, and she was recently won the second runner-up in the Miss America Pageant. She was awarded the preliminary fitness award there and also honored as a 2026 Quality of Life Award winner. So fantastic job there.
Thank you.
That award is among the most prestigious in the Miss America program, spotlighting the extraordinary young women whose service is transforming communities and inspiring future generations. As a proud double Gator,
Go Gators.
She's got Go Gators. She's got two degrees. I barely have one. She earned her bachelor's degree in public health and her master's in health administration. She got those from UF. She is a member of the University of Florida Hall of Fame. She is a former 4-year UF cheerleader, where she was a flyer. We're going to talk about that. She's a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and also a member of Florida Blue Key. So, Paris, welcome. We appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come into Todd's podcast.
I'm very excited to be here in Todd's podcast. I'm excited to talk about some experiences that I've had this past year with you, Todd.
Yeah, one was what you did yesterday when you were handling some reptiles. So I do want to talk about that. Where did you grow up? Let's talk a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? What was life like growing up as Paris?
So I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. I grew up with my mom and dad, two-parent household. They divorced when I was about 7. So it was just me, my mom, my sister. My dad was still around, of course, but it was just us in the home, and we got really
Three
close.
Girls.
Oh, me, my mom, and my brother.
Oh, your brother.
Yep,
Okay,
let me rephrase that. I'm sure my brother wishes differently, but he was in a house full of girls. And my mom put me in cheer when I was 6 years old. She was a cheerleader herself. She mentions it to everybody that she made it to nationals. So if you see her.
As a cheerleader?
Yes.
Okay.
So she was definitely, had her own passage in cheer as well, but she put me in, and I think that it kind of grew into something that neither of us really expected. I just wanted to learn how to backflip. I always thought that was really cool. I did Pop Warner. Then I went up to all-star cheerleading. I did high school sideline cheer. And my mom remarried to my stepdad, so grateful for him because he allowed for me to be able to do so many of those amazing things that I don't think would have, maybe not at the same timeline that it went, but I cheered my whole life. That's really all I remember. I started my first competition at 6 years old. So it's been my whole life. And it has really allowed me to go into some rooms that I never would have expected. Nice. I don't think that I would have been able to become Miss Florida without that experience that I had being a cheerleader. It was very unconventional. Most cheerleaders don't go on and to compete in pageants. It's usually dancers.
But the confidence, the athleticism, the coordination that you have to put your body through has got to have a big effect.
100%. I think also knowing how to put hard work in and being told no is okay. I think a lot of those lessons really translated over well to pageantry for me. But that is a big part of my life. I went on to the University of Florida, my dream school.
Absolutely.
I don't know where it came from. Nobody in my family went to the University of Florida. But me and my mom both remember the moment I had an iPad and I was scrolling. For some reason, I've always been an overachiever. Scrolling on my iPad at like 7 years old, like, Mom, this is where I want to go to school. She was like, why do you want to go to the University of Florida? My family went to FAMU. Some people went to Florida State. It was just very odd to everybody that this is where I wanted to go. But I saw that.
Go to Florida State.
Oh, no.
Not anymore.
It was never an option for me. But I think I loved that they had such a good program. They were good in sports. They had a great med school. At the time, I wanted to be a doctor. It just sounded like the perfect environment for me to go to and thrive in. And that's exactly what happened. I ultimately did not become a doctor, but I was able to become a cheerleader. I didn't make it my second year, my first year, but I made it my second year, and I cheered for 4 years, 1 year in grad school. And it was some of the best experiences I've had. So, yeah,
So you
that's me
cheered
growing
in
up.
front of some incredibly large crowds. You cheer at Florida. They got what, 85, 90,000?
90,000, yeah.
People there, bigger stadiums, smaller stadiums. You also cheered at the NCAA basketball tournament where we won the national championship this past summer.
That was crazy.
What makes you more nervous, speaking in front of a big group of folks or cheering in front of 100,000 people or on national TV?
Something about cheering, when I would cheer in front, again, like at football, 90,000 fans in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, like almost weekly.
Right.
It felt like no one was watching me, though. Like, I'm just out there having fun. It almost felt like a cheer retirement home for me. Like, my whole life I'd competed, and at competitions it's way less people, but sideline for me just felt like I'm just having so much fun. Nobody's here. I'm just on the field.
Right.
Just in my own world, honestly. But even the same for basketball as well. But something about speaking in front of crowds for me has always been a little nerve-wracking. I think getting ready for the Miss Florida competition, that was something that I definitely had to push myself with, learning to speak in front of people. I love talking.
Right.
That's never been a problem for me.
Right.
But speaking in front of crowds didn't necessarily come easy for me. That's something that I had to practice, almost like a muscle that I worked over the years. Competed in Miss Florida 3 times, and each year I'd put myself out more and more and get that practice. I think now for me it's not too bad. But prior to becoming Miss Florida, it was definitely like, oh, it's a little scary.
Well, when you're behind a microphone, you're the only one talking.
Yeah.
When you're in front of 90,000 people, you've got football players, other cheerleaders, other dancers, other band. You've got all kinds of other distractions. So you're part of the whole experience. Speaking in public is not something that everyone can do. Mm-hmm. I was able to get, the more you do it, the better you get.
Absolutely,
and I kind of found that if I looked at one person and kind of spoke to that person, it helped me get through it as well. Mm-hmm. And if I knew that person, it even made it, don't get, hey, the girl in the black, outfit in the front, or the guy wearing the cowboy hat. If I knew someone, it was almost like I was talking to them, and it made it a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
When you were cheering, did you cheer in high school?
Yes.
Did they have co-ed cheering where you're flying with guys and girls and they're throwing you around with gymnastics and tumbling? Or did that not come until, or do they have boys and girls cheerleading in high school now?
So they do, but not at my high school. I think actually we had one boy and his name was Music. But I did do All-Star. So I did competitive for about 5 years, where I traveled around a lot of the country, and I was able to cheer at competitions where I was tumbling all over the place and stunting and doing really crazy things. And then about my junior year of high school, I told my mom, okay, I think I'm ready to just do high school cheer, which was more sideline. I cheered at my high school. We did have that one boy, but we were also pretty competitive in high school, just didn't really touch All-Star. But that was perfect for me. Like I was okay. Again, I cheered my whole life. So it's like accumulation of over the years. I think it would have been a little different if I would have started at a different age, but I was totally okay with just doing sideline and competing with my high school. Went to UF. We did not compete at UF. Was also very happy with that. Like, it just got to go and do what I love to do, which was be on the sideline, cheer for some of the coolest moments, like cheering for our football team, cheering for our basketball team. We cheered for gymnastics. We cheered for volleyball. So I really got to immerse myself so much more into the UF experience because of it, and I was totally fine that I was no longer competing.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever see some of the offensive and defensive linemen walking by and that 7-foot kid walk by and say, holy crap, that's a big human being that God has created.
Absolutely.
And here I am, I'm a flyer, getting thrown around, weighing a nickel, if you're soaking wet. It's got to be a little daunting to look and say, This world is made up of all kinds of people.
Yeah, it was even when I remember going to high school and thinking that. So when I got to UF, it was a different level. But I remember my first day at high school, I had classes with seniors because I did early college program. And I remember texting my mom and being like, wow, these football players, Mom, they're grown men. She's like, yeah, you're in high school now.
Yeah.
Then I get to UF and it's like, oh, it's a whole nother level to this.
These are grown men.
A whole different level. I got to take a picture with the 7-foot basketball player.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
He's not 7 foot. He's like 7'6" or 7'9".
Something crazy.
I saw a sideline reporter with him, and she literally came up to his hips.
That I do too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever get hurt cheering? I mean, when they're throwing you around like you're, a bag of flour from time to time.
I did tear my meniscus.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure when that injury happened. I think it kind of happened when I was in like high school, but I started to notice it in college and I got an MRI. So grateful for UF Athletics because they saw me a lot of times for when I did think I had an injury.
Right.
But I'm blessed that I didn't, just that one meniscus tear. But I got PRP from UF and we kept it pushing. Yeah.
What is PRP?
It is when they draw the blood out of your body and they spin it around and then they take out a specific part. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. And then they put it back in your meniscus because it doesn't get enough blood flow.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Were you on? Are there scholarships for cheerleading?
So we didn't have a direct scholarship like, okay, we're going to pay your tuition.
Right.
But each year you get a stipend for the semester. Your first year, I think it's about $400. And then each year it goes up by $100. So I got $400 in fall and spring. And then next year, $500 fall and spring, so forth and so on. But if you're a captain, get like $100 more. That was a way
per sport you cheer for, like 100 when you do volleyball, 100 just 100 for
just $100 the whole semester.
Wow!
But
University of Florida needs to do better for these kids.
It's not even just UF. It's a cheerleading thing. Unfortunately, I think cheerleaders are getting put out there more. I know UCF and USF are starting to push for scholarships for their cheerleaders, which is really exciting. But I will say one thing that I really took advantage of, and a few of my peers as well, is NIL. So that was a way that I was able to really make a lot of money. I learned a lot about branding myself through NIL and how I could make some pocket change.
So cheerleaders are participating in NIL money. Wow.
I had the opportunity to partner with brands like CVS, Hollister, CoverGirl while I was in college. So then I got to, Miss Florida stage and we're talking about branding and all this. And I'm like, I've been doing this for the past 4 years. Like, I love that. I love branding. I love marketing. In another world, that's where I would be working and living. I love it so much. But because of UF and being a cheerleader, I got the opportunity to really connect with those brands, learn what that looked like. And I've been able to do that as Miss Florida now, which is really exciting.
I had no idea that NIL branding and that money was even in the cheerleading ranks. That's amazing.
Yeah, I made way more money with NIL than I did my cheer stipend.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had to go out there and get it.
So there's no agent or there's not someone that says, hey, I want to take in all the cheerleaders from UF. Nope. You don't do it as a squad. It's you individually.
Yep, you got to go out and get it.
You get your deal and... Well, it also teaches you how to hustle a little bit, too.
Yeah.
Get out and work for what is yours.
And I've always had that mentality. Like, I can think back to being in kindergarten and charging my grandma and grandpa like $5 for a tea party with no tea. Like, just water out the sink. And they mention it all the time. And growing up, I used to sell candy in high school. And I'd be like, Grandma, Grandpa, just give me $30 so I can go to Sam's. I'll get my pack. As soon as I get my money back, I'll pay you back. Like, I've always had that I want money mentality. So it's just grown into something bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about it's not a platform in the Miss Florida pageant anymore. It's your community service
initiative.
Yeah. Initiative. That's the word I'm missing. I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about what the Miss Florida, you're here as the reigning Miss Florida.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about what that experience has meant to you, the scholarship, the relationships, and some of the experiences that you've had. First and foremost, it's a scholarship program. I mean, it is populated by beautiful young ladies, but underneath there is a significant scholarship program. And you've done very well. You've been able to help put yourself through school, and you've done quite well with it. And tell us about the pageant a little bit itself, how you got involved. And you said you were in the Miss Florida the third time is when you won it?
Yes.
What were the other local titles that you won before you got there?
So I'll throw it back to when I was 16, 17. I went out for my high school's pageant and I won. And I remember thinking, I am so good at pageants. I could do this. And I had a mentor tell me, why don't you go out and compete for Miss Florida Teen? And I did 2 months later. And of the 16 girls, I got bottom 2. So not even enough to go on to the next level to make it to semifinals. And I was crushed. I was heartbroken, but I don't regret that experience at all. I'm so glad that I did it because the same girls that I competed with at 16, 17, we're still friends. We went to UF together, FSU. We've grown. I've seen them grow.
Yeah.
They've pushed me. I've seen things that they've done that I didn't even think that I could do that has pushed me to do things like Crown of Health, to create Get Raw at my high school. Just really being around so many like-minded women at a young age was, I think, pivotal for me and how I have continued to excel. But I didn't do well that year, and I thought, okay, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. But I did have one dream. It was to be Miss University of Florida. That came with my dream of going to UF. I was going to be a cheerleader, and I was going to be Miss UF. I knew I was going to do it. And I went out for Miss UF my junior year or my sophomore year while I was at UF, and I did not win, which is fine. I got first runner-up, and again, I was heartbroken, but I was, okay, I got first runner-up at least. I can come back next year, and I think that if I work hard enough, I can win.
Right.
Came back the next year, and I won.
Awesome.
But
what year was that?
I
like
was
4 years
junior,
ago? Okay.
like 5, 6
5,
years
6
ago.
years ago. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there, 4 or 5. So with that, you have to go and compete at Miss Florida, which I was like, okay, we're going to do this again, but this time as a Miss. We'll see how it goes. Last time I didn't even make it to semifinals. And I go and compete at Miss Florida, and I'm just going because I have to at this point and not thinking that I'm going to do well. I'm just going. And I got second runner-up on my first try. And I remember, being with my mom. And, most girls would be like, oh, I didn't win. And me and my mom were like, oh, my gosh.
Right.
What? That's so crazy. The jump between, 3 or 4 years is insane. So the next year, I came back. I came back as Miss Northeast Florida, and I got third runner-up. And that kind of hurt a little bit because I went back. But I think it's exactly what I needed to kind of light a fire under me. Okay, if you really want it, you got to go to work. It's not just going to be handed to you, Paris. So I went out as Miss Gainesville on my third try. And I was lucky enough or blessed enough to walk away with the crown of Miss Florida. And then 2 months later, I went on to Miss America. Again, something I never in a million years would have imagined. I was just a little cheerleader who was living in her cheer world.
Right.
Just thinking about the idea that I competed at Miss America. That name is so crazy to me. I can't believe it. But I've gotten some really cool opportunities through this organization. It wasn't something that I necessarily was like, I'm going to be Miss America from a little girl, but I'm glad that it kind of fell in my lap and that I had mentors and family members who were right behind me like, no, girl, you can do this. Even if you don't feel like you can, just keep trying. And it happened.
I think it shows your determination, your grit, your perseverance, and your drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's as big testament as anything. Is there are some of the young ladies that I've talked to, they've been pageant girls for little, and you kind of, sounds like you came to it late and a little bit intermittently, or not consistently, maybe is a better word, but you've done quite well. Todd's podcast is sponsored in part by Saunders Real Estate, your trusted partner in land and commercial real estate since 1996. With over 125 expert advisors located throughout the Southeast United States, the full-service brokerage specializes in a wide range of property types from farms and ranches to commercial buildings and development land. If you're looking to build your legacy with a confident investment, please visit SaundersRealEstate.com or call 877-518-5263 to connect with an advisor today. What was the Miss America pageant like?
That was, I always tell everyone, it was the longest and quickest week of my life. It's an 11-day competition.
Where was it?
In Orlando
this year. Okay.
So I got really lucky with that because I had to drive 2.5 hours, and there were some girls who were driving 14 plus hours and pickup trucks with all of their stuff for 11 days, and we're changing 2 or 3 times a day. Like,
Right.
you have your props and whatnot. And it was, whew, I'm so glad that I only had to drive 2.5 hours and get settled in. I felt right at home. We had it at Universal. I've been there a million times. But that week was a really cool bonding experience, again, to be with so many like-minded women who are so strong, all deserving of the crown. You get there and you're like, not necessarily a shoo-in, but you get there and you're feeling confident, and my confidence never diminished, but it was almost like everybody here is good.
Yeah, everybody could win this thing.
Anybody here could win this thing. We're all really cool
Right.
women, not girls, but everybody in their own right is doing some really good things for their community. They really care. They really deserve to be here. And I think it kind of let the pressure off a little bit,
Right.
And not feeling so like, I have to do this. But, it's an honor to be here amongst these women. And then going into interview, I actually ran into interview like 5 minutes before it started. So I was kind of like still shaken up a little bit. But I got in there and the moment just felt like I'm supposed to be here. And then you have your community service interview that's right after it. And I'm very passionate about my community, but never in a million years did I think I was going to be lucky
Right.
enough to win Community Service Initiative for all of Miss America for
Right.
2025. That was crazy. And I remember getting out of that interview, and my regular interview, I told my mom, it was good. It was a good interview. And I got out of Community Service Initiative interview, and I was like, oh, no, Mom. That interview was fire. That was really good.
Yeah.
And I got on stage, and they announced me as the winner for that. And that was a huge honor. I can't say enough because, again, I really do care for my community. It's something that I've done well before competing in pageants. I've started Get Raw in high school with my classmates because we saw that there really needed to be some change in our community. So it was so amazing to watch that be honored. And a lot of my classmates who started Get Raw with me were also watching
Right.
Miss America. So I think that they all felt a little piece of like,
Had a little piece of what was going on.
yeah, we all did that. It wasn't just me who started the club, but that was nice.
I've had one interview in my life where I walked out and I said, I nailed it.
Yeah.
If I don't get this, and it was when I ran for president of the Florida Association of Realtors.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked out, I said, if I don't get it, there's nothing else I could have said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it again. I hit every question. I said exactly the way I wanted to say it. I
Mm-hmm.
ad-libbed perfectly, and ended up I was successful. And it sounds like that's what you did.
Yeah.
Is you walked out and said, I left nothing on the table. I hit everything that I wanted to say the way I wanted to say it, and that's a pretty darn good feeling.
Oh, it feels amazing.
It is like, wow, that was really good. Did that come out of me?
It feels amazing. Interview for me has always been like one of my favorite phases. Again, I could talk forever.
Yeah.
I could go on and on. But
What was your talent?
acro jazz. I can't dance.
Eli's quite the dancer.
I can't dance, Eli.
You need to do acro dancing, Eli. That's your problem.
Yeah, I'll pick that up when I get time.
When you start feeling better.
Yeah,
So
Well, you're associate of the month or
team member of the
team
year.
member of the year last week, so you've got time.
I do got time now.
We'll see if Paris can give you a couple of.
he doesn't want lessons from me. Trust me. I cannot dance. But I did win talent at Miss Florida.
You had to have been able to dance if you won talent at Miss Florida.
Could not. Well, if you saw after, I was like, what? Are you guys pranking me? Where's the camera at? Like, I can't believe it. I can tumble. Don't get me wrong. I've done that my whole life.
Right.
But most of my dance consists of me tumbling. There's a few dance moves here and there. A few that my dance instructor was like, okay, you can do that. But no, by no means would I consider myself a dancer, a technical dancer.
So you mentioned Raw, which was something you started in high school with some folks, and you mentioned that, and you've also, I want to talk about Crown, but let's do Raw first, since chronologically that came first. Tell us about the Raw program that you started.
Yes. So my whole life up until college, and I started taking those classes, I wanted to be a doctor. So I told my high school principal, I was very close with my principal, I still am. But I remember mentioning to him, I want to be a doctor. We don't have any pre-med clubs at our school. Like, what can we do? Is there any way that, could you help me, in any way? And it started off with him allowing me to shadow our head pediatrician. We had a school-based health center right on campus. So I would shadow our head pediatrician. I would help him with any administrative work he needed. I was really blessed with that opportunity. And I remember talking to him about a lot of the community issues that we had, a lot of people in our community could not afford to get health care. We had it right there at a school-based health center, but not a lot of people knew about it. So I remember talking to some of my peers. We all still work in healthcare today. We're all very close. It's about 6 of us. Some of us are in school for pharmacy. I got my Master of Health Administration degree. Someone's in school for nursing. Like we all still have our hands on it, which is so cool to me to see that it grew from Get Raw to us having our own lanes in healthcare. But we got our heads together and we were like, well, what if we started a club? And it was something so simple to us. It didn't feel like we were trying to take over the world. We just really wanted to do something with our school. Also, being able to get exposed to healthcare at a young age was really important to us. We've always been overachievers. And we started Reebok Get Raw. The first time we started it kind of failed a little bit. We came back the next year. We had a sponsor the next year. Our principal was like, I think this could really go far. Gave us a sponsor, and we were able to partner with Wolfson's Children's Hospital, who gave us funding. So it was a lot more successful when we had a little bit of pocket change to really tell our community about it. And we were able to do things like Reebok Get Raw chats, where weekly we were talking to students.
And Reebok, that was your high school?
Yes, Jean Ribot Senior High.
Okay.
And we were able to have weekly chats with students about different health issues, mental health, whether that's STDs, how to stay protected, how to protect yourself, going to the doctor once a year, all those kind of good things. And then it grew into yearly health fairs where we were having health fairs for our whole community. We were giving away backpacks at back to school drives. Like it just continued to grow into something so much more than just getting health care. It really started to focus on health inequities and different social determinants of health that people in our community were affected by and why they weren't healthy, not just because they weren't going to the doctors. There were some other things that needed to be tackled as well. Right. Making sure we were getting food. We got partnered with the food bank to give away food for our school. So we were really able to get some cool things done for the community. And it has continued to grow since then. I think we started with about 6 members. And then about 2 years ago, it grew to about 30 members when they lost funding. Wolfson's Children's Hospital could no longer afford to do that. But one of the things that's really cool is we were able to find a new sponsor this past year.
And you know people.
Since being Miss Florida, I was able to get a new sponsor, and me and one of my friends who started it with me, we will be going and helping about every other week, helping with students so we can get it back up and running, not just for our student body, but also because it's really important for our community to have that as well.
So a very good friend of mine, his name is Russell Grooms. He's a realtor up in the Jacksonville area. And Russell, if you're listening, and you do listen, I want you to write this organization a check for $5,000 to give them some money.
Russell, we would really appreciate it.
I don't know if you'll do it, but next time I see you, if I haven't done it, I'm going to shame you. So Russell's a good guy, and he would enjoy meeting you. So you after Raw. Mm-hmm. You in the pageant world, your community service initiative.
Yes.
You got it. How trained I am. Was Crown. Tell us about Crown and what that does, why you created it, and what it really means. So, because I won't do it as service as well as you.
Yeah, I get it. So Crown of Health kind of backpacks off of Get Raw because I never really took my hand off of it. I've always stayed involved with it, and my high school, up there all the time. I love them. It really is a big community.
What does CROWN mean? It's an acronym.
Mm-hmm. It stands for Community Research, Outreach, Wellness, and Nutrition. So kind of focusing again on those social determinants of health, which I've learned over the years are way more important than telling someone to just go to the doctor. And it's a way that I've been able to get involved with my community past Jacksonville. Since moving to Gainesville, I've been able to do that again, which is so amazing. I had the opportunity to write my own children's book, The Not So Perfect Garden Project.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that too.
Yes.
In a minute.
So I think it kind of went from health inequity to food insecurity. I think that's something that I saw, at least in my community, was more of a need than healthcare. Not to say that they didn't need healthcare, but we were in a food desert. It was more important at the time that we were focusing more on getting people in our community food that they needed. So I wrote the Not So Perfect Garden Project, one, to teach students how to finish out a project, how to start something and finish it. It's about my 2 mentees who started a community garden at their elementary school. And it didn't necessarily work the first go round, but the second go round it did, similar to Reebok Get Raw. So I think that it's a really important lesson for young students to hear and know that it's not always going to go your way the first time, but also how to grow your own food, what that looks like, who you should be talking to. You should find a mentor if you can, a teacher, an aunt, grandma, someone who can kind of help you build this for you, whether that's just at home or in your community.
Okay.
And I've been able to partner with Feeding Florida because of it. For my books, for each book purchase, proceeds go to Feeding Florida, and I've been able to create 5,000 meal opportunities in the past year alone. My book hasn't even been out for a year yet. I've had the opportunity to partner with PBS Kids, Kids Hope Alliance in Jacksonville, Florida, Boys and Girls Club. I was a Boys and Girls Club member myself. That partnership has been amazing this year, too.
I still want to introduce you to Steve Giordano, who's the Boys and Girls Club executive director here.
I would love to.
And so if we can coordinate that, if you know next time you're coming to this part of the state, I'd love to make that introduction and let you talk to some of their kids.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll actually be back on Thursday. I don't know if he's available that
this
early,
Thursday. When we're finished recording this, we'll get him on the phone and see if we can set up a time.
But I definitely think that it kind of shifted from what I saw in my community and a little bit of what Gainesville needed to Crown of Health. That's where it kind of evolved from. But I'm excited to see where it continues to grow. I've been able to help so many students in after-school programs this past year learn about Crown of Health, how they can get involved in their own community, donating books to hospitals and different schools and programs like Boys and Girls Club. And I'm really excited to see where it continues to go this past after I'm done being Miss Florida and I have a little bit more time to just solely focus on what that'll look like.
Hey everybody, my name's Ed Childs. I've had the privilege of knowing Todd Dantzler for many years and his family, and I've admired his podcast and really enjoyed listening to it. I had an opportunity to be on the podcast today and talk about some of the important initiatives that we're pursuing with our Gamble Creek Farm and our clam projects and some of the other things that we care a lot about. I hope you'll take the time to listen, and I hope you'll follow Todd Dantzler's podcast. You'll be glad you did.
Do you do many visits to children's hospitals? One thing I notice is being around the Miss Florida, and I've said this in the past, I think when Juliet was on here, is kids love to see a young lady with a crown. The sash is fine, but they love the crown. And little girls specifically love it. Little boys love it. Get a little older, the middle like girls 10. Like it. The boys are then the boys are too cool for school and high school, but the girls still kind of look at it. And do you get to make many appearances at children's hospitals where you can be a representative and an ambassador for the program there?
I've had the opportunity to visit a few. I would love to visit more before I give up my title in June. I've been able to visit Jackson Hospital and Baptist Hospital in Jacksonville, Jackson Hospital in Miami. But a lot of my time has been spent with after school programs or high school students. I actually spoke to George Jenkins High School. Yep, and here in Lakeland. And I saw a lot of that where you're like, those high school kids are more like, I don't know. While I'm speaking, they're not very interested. And then I put the mic down. I'm like, if anybody has any questions, come up. And then all of a sudden, it's such a different experience once it's just more one-on-one. Some of the boys are like, okay, let's take a picture now. And it's so funny to see. Elementary is definitely my favorite to speak to. They are so fun. They ask the funniest questions.
What's the funniest question they've ever asked you?
Do you have kids? Are you married? Are the diamonds in your crown real? What does your sash say? They're so little silly. Yeah, but it's so fun. Yeah. I hate to say it, but they're more fun than any other crowd. I love them.
Well, they're honest.
Yeah, they tell you how they really feel.
Yeah, they've got no filter.
They're super fun. But I definitely have had the opportunity to visit some hospitals. But if anybody is listening who could help me get into more hospitals, I would absolutely love to before I give up my title in June.
Do you travel is this your full-time job? Do you have another job right now while you're performing your duties?
I do.
Okay.
So I also
you have some time limit constraints.
Yes, and no. Okay. I'm very, very, very blessed. I have a boss who's willing to work with me. She knows that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and she knows that if I can get this experience for the year, that it's not going to come back. So I've
What
been
a
able,
great boss.
right? Very, very. I tell her all the time, I love you, girl. Like you are amazing. Yeah, because I don't see any other business letting me do this. But I've had the opportunity to travel the state during my year. I work in medical device sales, so I'm either fitting patients or I'm in a doctor's office speaking with physicians about their patients and paperwork that I might need from them or the front office. Just yesterday morning before my appearance, I was sending out, we have someone who fits patients at our organization. So I was sitting out to him. And then after I got back home from the appearance, I was calling patients, trying to get extra paperwork for them. So I definitely make it work, and I try not to take advantage of the opportunity I've been given and, work whenever I can.
Right.
Very lucky that I have
Still
a kind
have
of
bills
job.
to pay too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's an amazing opportunity that she's given me, and that I get to really live out this year to the best that I can. I try to make, as many as I can on the weekend, so I'm not really
Right.
infringing on work too much, but I can still do both.
So you mentioned your book. Mm-hmm. It debuted as #1 on the Amazon newcomer or whatever the word is there. Pardon if I mispronounce it. New release.
Yes.
What's the book about? Tell us a little bit about it and what you did, why you did the book.
So I wrote the book, and I have 2 mentees, Joy and Lauren. They've actually been with me I've known them since they were 4. They're about 11 now. Both of their moms coached me in high school. So, and they are like aunts to me now. My mom and one of my coaches talk on the phone almost every day. Like they are a part of our family at this
Right.
point. And their daughters, I thought, were the perfect young ladies to join me as Miss Florida. So it started when I was Miss University of Florida. I'm a part of the Miss Florida organization. We have Florida Sunshine Sisters. So they join us on stage. They come the week of Miss Florida. They're able to do really cool opportunities and again, be with like-minded young women from such a young age. I think you have to be younger than 13 to be involved in the organization. But so many young women who win Miss Florida were a part of the Florida Sunshine program.
Right.
So glad that they get that experience. And I know one of them, Joy, is a big pageant queen, and I could definitely see her being Miss Florida one day. So I'm really excited that she's been immersed in it from such a young age. But they've been along with the ride for a long time, almost 10 years now. And
Were they able to come to Orlando for the Miss
yep,
America?
they were at
pageant?
Miss America. They
Did
have
you hear
been
them
there.
screaming over everybody else?
I have videos of them. They are so funny. I have videos of them like crying after I won Miss Florida. They ran on stage like tears, and it means so much more again because I've known them since they were babies, since they were little girls. For them to join me on this journey and to be pushing me like, yes, that's my big sister. Paris is Miss Florida. It's so cool, and I can't wait for the roles to reverse. And I support them now, but I can't wait for them to get a little bit older and start competing.
And what are their names?
Joy and Lauren.
So Joy and Lauren, when you become Miss Florida, you get to come on the podcast.
Yes.
So
We got a while.
that's all right. Just keep pushing. Hopefully we'll be around by then too.
Eli?
Eli's pretty sick today, so he's trying to get through this afternoon. But
So I started it. They've been with me. They've seen me start Get Raw. They've seen me in my community. And I know that they started a community garden at their school. They mentioned it to me. And it didn't go too well. I was like, okay, well, try it again. They tried it again. It was successful. Biscayne Elementary in Jacksonville, Florida. And we talked about it. And I don't know what about it. It just felt like this is perfect. This is literally perfect for me. We wrote the book. They are the 2 main characters of the book. And again, it was one of those moments that's like, oh my gosh, my little babies. And to like give it to them and them to see their faces. And the artist did a very good job at making it actually look like them. So they get to, flip through the pages and it's like, this is me and Lauren. And they're like best friends. They're like
did
sisters.
they buy your first 100 books?
I gifted them the first 2, but I'm sure their moms did. I'm sure they did. And again, it's like one big family. Their moms are like my aunts. They're like my little sisters. It's been a journey for all of us together. They've come to almost every pageant that I've competed in. And I'm really grateful that they've been along for that journey.
Nice.
But they love the book. I told them now it's your project. They come with me to book sellings and book releases that I've been able to do. But I definitely want it to be their thing that they get to have and say that, I was a part of. And when they become Miss Florida one day, talk about.
All right. Ladies, when you win, you're coming back on.
Yes.
So tell us, you've mentioned the community garden a few times. what does it take to start one? Just two people, one person? Do you need a half an acre of land? Do you need any money? How do you go about starting something like this? If someone's listening and says, hey, I want to start a garden for my community.
You definitely need a little bit of money. I think you need some area. I think they also have the outdoor gardens that you can put in your front yard.
The vertical ones that grow like...
the vertical ones, they can be kind of pricey though, I will
Right.
say. But I know that they have some programs where they are willing to give them to you and for influencers. But if you're an influencer, you're probably a little bit more able to purchase items. You might not be my target audience. I think it's really important to have some land, a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much. It depends on what you're growing. To have fertilizer and seeds. From there, I learned from YouTube, what is it called? YouTube University. And that's been a way that I've been able to learn a lot of things other than gardening. But that's something that I tell a lot of students. I am not a master gardener, but I can point you in the direction to where to go find one. There are lots on YouTube and the internet that can really help you grow your own food, so you're not having to choose between vegetables, a little bit of vegetables, or unhealthy foods that can be a little cheaper.
Eli's learning how to do open heart surgery through YouTube University.
Really?
So
What is that about?
He's 3/4 of the way through ready to do his first heart operation.
Filling out my resume.
Oh,
resume.
don't operate on anybody, please.
Yeah. But is it, I want to do this for my own family? Is that is that the thought of a community garden is I want to do it for my block or my neighborhood? You mentioned you can do it in your front yard.
Yeah.
Does it need to be a coordinated effort, or hey, let's just start with some carrots and
I definitely
beets
think
or
it's
whatever?
best to start with something like that. I remember me and my grandmother planning some things, and that's kind of how it started. But my neighborhood does also have
Same grandparents that gave you $5 for a glass of water, and you told them it was a glass
Yeah.
of tea. What great grandparents!
Yeah, they're amazing. I love my grandparents. But yeah, my same grandma, I have so many stories about that lady.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky to have her in my life. We spent, kind of going off on a tangent, but we spent a lot of time with her growing up, me and my brother, and now my little brother. She was a retired principal, so it almost kind of made sense that we went to Nana's house every day after school, and we got tutored, and we got fed, and she had all the fun stuff. She had a lake in her backyard. We would go fishing. She had her little paddle boat that we would ride. It was just always so much fun at Nana's house. You know, you had to finish your homework first, of
Right.
course, and you better get good grades. But it was a lot of rewards being at Nana's house. She taught me how to sew. I used to sew dresses and walk around with her heels on, and, you know, just so many fun experiences at her house. But one thing that she did love to do was garden. And I think that kind of influences me a little bit too. That was something that we did, but it was a little bit more one-on-one, you know, 1 or 2, 3 fruits or vegetables, nothing too big. But my community in Jacksonville, where my mom lives in Springfield, they have a literal community garden where I don't know if they've purchased this plot of land, if they're leasing it or renting it. But it's been a huge effort by SPAR, our community, and they've been able to really create something amazing for the community where you can go, you pay a subscription.
So it's like a co-op or a subscription.
Yeah, it's a subscription,
I
and
think
you go
One
in.
of my cousins did that
Yeah.
outside of Atlanta for a
It's
while.
really cool. You can go in, you pay a subscription, you can get X amount of fruits and vegetables. You know, they have people who come and volunteer their time. I think the owner does most of the work, but
Right.
it is something that's really useful for people who may not necessarily be able to afford to go to Publix and buy a 2-for-2 strawberry or whatnot. You can just go up to the community garden and get what you need.
You had mentioned a food desert,
Yes.
and I've heard that term a number of times. I've
Yes.
heard it when I was an elected official. I've heard it
Mm-hmm.
outside of that. What exactly does that mean? Because I kind of think some people are thinking, man, all you got to do is pick up the phone and Amazon will bring you a watermelon or strawberries or grapes or peaches or steaks or whatever.
Yeah. I actually did not know that you could order food on Amazon.
Right. Or YouTube Uber Eats.
Oh, Uber Eats.
Sorry.
Okay.
Or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, how is there a food desert anywhere anymore?
Yeah, so that's how I feel, you know, but I live in one and it's kind of frustrating.
But you live in Gainesville.
Well, no,
right?
I live in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
And I moved out of Gainesville,
Okay.
but it's when you live, if I remember correctly, more than 15 miles away from a grocery store, which doesn't sound like much, but at least for me, I experience it all the time when I have to choose between driving 15 minutes to go to Publix or Walmart, whatever it is, or I can just go to this Family Dollar right here and get something really quickly that's not going to be as healthy, or Popeyes, or
Onions instead of real onions.
you know what I mean? It's not the same. Not to say
Right.
that I couldn't drive those 15 minutes, but it's a little less convenient after getting off of work and having a long day to have to go do that, come back and cook it, when I could just go get something that's fast and 9 times out of 10 probably going to be cheaper anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So creating a garden for yourself or a community garden, obviously you need to get organized. You need to figure out if we're going to do subscriptions or if we're all going to,
How we're going to pitch in.
Right. If there's 5 of us, or do we do all the labor equally? Do we do the expenses and we all get to pick the same number of strawberries and grapes and whatever? I mean, there's got to be some organization to that. How hard is it to get people kind of on the same page to focus? Or is there, I guess there's more than one way to skin the cat on this.
Yeah.
And the way you did it is just the way you did it. And Eli could start one or I could start one, and ours would be different than yours, but the outcome would still be kind of the same thing. You're feeding people.
Yeah.
How did you kind of decide this is the way we want to go? Or is this how you were kind of taught from your grandmother and adults around you that, hey, why don't you try it like this?
I don't know. Well, I haven't started any of the community gardens myself.
Okay.
It's been a group
Right.
effort. Everyone that I have been a part of. So I think definitely listening to what your community needs is what's most important. I think I've learned that a lot just from Reebok Get Raw in my community, not doing necessarily what one person wants to do, but what does the community needs? Whether that's a community needs assessment, asking your community, going door to door, surveys. I think it's very important to know what we can all agree on, what's going to be easiest for our community. Because like you mentioned, it's going to be different from Reebok to Biscayne Elementary to Springfield and Jacksonville.
Well, my community will never need Brussels sprouts and we will never need cauliflower.
Do you guys grow that?
No, I'm just saying if I'm ever in a community, we are not growing Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts. You don't like Brussels sprouts, Eli?
No, 1/3 of the Devil's Triangle around here loves Brussels sprouts.
I love
It
Brussels
stinks
sprouts.
up the whole office.
They
when
do
bring 'em.
stink.
They stink bad.
The other day, I got some on Valentine's night, and my mom was like, "Oh, it smells stinky." I was like, "I don't know what that is. It's my
Yeah.
Brussels." They taste good. You have to go somewhere
they
who they have to be cooked right with a little bit of this isn't really
Bacon.
healthy. Yeah.
Bacon.
Bacon and bacon fat. That's what makes it good.
Yeah, that's what makes it so healthy too. When you surround
Well,
it with
know-
bacon fat.
Not too much.
Hey everybody, this is your host Todd Dantzler. As most of you know, I'm a partner with Saunders Real Estate and have been a very active and working broker for over 42 years. I have fostered strong relationships throughout the state of Florida, working on properties ranging from agriculture and development land to multifamily, commercial, and industrial projects. If you have any real estate needs at all, please give me a call. I'd love to help. My direct line is 863-877-2846. Thank you. You mentioned traveling around the state. What are some of the neat opportunities you've had as you've traveled around as Miss Florida? I know what you told me you did yesterday, that you're welcome to talk about it if you like, if Keith won't get upset.
So yesterday we went to Gatorland, and I may or may not have been with some gators. I was with gators. The size of the gators is, we'll see. Maybe after I give up my title, I'll show a picture then. But I did hold a gator. It was a little baby 6-month-old gator, which was
Yeah.
really cool as a gator. And ironically, the guy who was over, I don't know what to call him. He was a Gatorland expert.
A Gator Wrangler?
Gator Wrangler. Yeah. His name was Brandon. Shout out to Brandon for
All right,
giving us that
Brandon.
really cool experience
Way
yesterday.
to go, Brandon.
But as soon as we walked up to him, I said, "Brandon, I know you. I've met you before." I don't know if you've seen SEC Nation, where they usually have the guy up there who has the gator, or they also had him at NCAA something. But I've met him twice, and that was my 3rd time holding one of his gators. And I was like, wow, small world, makes sense, Gatorland and UF. But that was really cool that we instantly remembered each other. And then
I saw a couple of those pictures. You should not show those to Keith until you're out of
Yeah,
being
yeah,
officially
yeah.
Miss Florida.
yeah,
He will have a heart attack.
Yeah, Mr. Keith, I'm so sorry for listening to this, but we will show you those pictures at a later date after June 29th, July 1st. I'll show you, because some of those gators were they're kind of big. I've also had the opportunity to be in the Gasparilla Parade.
Nice.
And I did not know that. I'd heard Gasparilla, like my friends at UF, I'm sure it's probably filled with college students because it seemed like it was. I heard from my friends all the time, we're going to go to Gasparilla, and I could never go because I cheered, and we would always have a game at the same time.
Right.
It never worked out.
Right.
And I went, I was able to be in the parade, and I remember getting there, and the lady who was over having me there, she said, yeah, we have drinks and coolers in the back. And I was like, this is just a parade. We don't need all that. She was like, no, this is a 3-hour parade. And I was like, this is a 3-hour parade. I didn't know anything about it. We get started, and I'm like, look at all these people. And she's like, yeah, you didn't know this is Gasparilla? And I'm looking at the floats, and I'm like, this is really nice.
Right.
I've been in probably about 5 or 6 parades, but that parade was one of the coolest parades ever, way bigger than I ever experienced or could have imagined experiencing. That was a really cool opportunity that I think it was more so because I didn't anticipate it, that made it so cool. What else have I done?
Did you ever look at someone in the crowd and say, you're an adult, you should have more pride in yourself. Don't do that.
Yeah. There was some moments that, I wouldn't, necessarily talk about now as Miss Florida, but some Mardi Gras moments where I was like, whoa.
There you go.
That's kind of crazy to do right now.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of what else.
What are
is
some
really
of the
cool.
neatest places you've been as Miss Florida? I mean, you mentioned Miami. I'm sure you've been up to the Panhandle, everywhere in between. Gatorland obviously was kind of a fun thing. You got live alligators.
We got to go to not Washington. We got to go to New York City.
Okay.
For Miss America Homecoming to celebrate Cassie winning Miss America. That was so cool to be with my Miss America sisters. We let our hair down. We weren't competing against each other anymore.
No
Now we're
crowns, no
sisters,
sashes. You're just women.
We're just sisters having fun. Yeah. That was so cool. They had an amazing lineup of activities for us. We were able to skate together in Central Park. We went to some fancy restaurants that I had never heard of. And what is it? The show that they do with the girls who kick really
Rockettes?
hard. Yes, Rockettes. Like
Eli's auditioning for the Rockettes too.
I'll be there, Eli.
Todd keeps signing me up for all these things.
He's half drunk on cough syrup right now, so I wonder if I can ever slide anything by him this morning. His eyes are glazed over and he's barely awake running the board over there.
I can't wait to see you up on that stage, Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, he's got happy feet sometimes.
But some really cool opportunities through New York. Another cool partnership, like I was mentioning, was the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
About a month after, I don't even think it was that long after I won, they set it up to where I got a proclamation from the city all in one day. A proclamation from the city. I went to City Hall and I read to about 100 students, got my books donated to those 100 students. They found a sponsor to buy my books and donate them. ViStar Bank bought some books and donated them to some students. I went to 3 different clubs and was able to donate about 300 books, 300 students. They had bounce houses. It was a celebration. It was almost like a homecoming to Boys and Girls Club since I was a Boys and Girls Club member. It was a huge celebration, and that was one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people behind me that, pageants to me kind of came later in life.
Right.
So I don't think that I really understood how much people knew about them. I think my experience with cheerleading, a lot of people don't really know much about cheer, what that looks like, but it was completely different. So that was a really cool celebration, again, where I was able to really see all the people who were behind me that I just didn't really see before. And leading up to Miss America, I really needed it. And I really needed that, oh my gosh, okay, I can do this. And hearing those people tell me that I can and that you're going to do it,
Right.
Speaking life into me, because that stage is huge and it can be kind of daunting. So you need as many people behind you, keeping you propped up and keeping
Well, it sounds
you
like you've had
confident.
wonderful family support and wonderful friend support that have been
100%.
your base throughout this whole thing.
100%.
And everything in your life. If someone wants to hire you for a personal appearance,
Yes.
for a ribbon cutting for a new bank, or have you at a ball game or whatever, throw out the first pitch, how do they find you? They obviously don't go straight to you. They go through the Miss Florida organization, I'm assuming.
Yes. So you can either follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Miss America Florida, FL. So Miss America FL. Or you can reach out to Mr. Keith, who is our executive
Keith Williams.
You can reach out to Mr. Keith Williams, who is our executive director. His email is keith@missflorida.org. My email, my Miss Florida email is missflorida@missflorida.org as well. So any of those avenues, if you DM me, I'll just send it to Mr. Keith anyway.
And there's typically a small appearance fee to help with expenses. It's not to put money in your pocket, but
Yes.
it's to defer gas, it's to defer a hotel if you
Yep.
have to stay
Food.
overnight, or food or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you are thinking of having an event and you would like to make it even a little bit more special, if you would like to buy a bunch of books
Yes.
Of Paris's and give those out to kids, or sponsor it and give it to the Boys and Girls Clubs, what age group are these books appropriate for? I mean, are they 4 to 6, or is it middle schoolers, high schoolers?
I'd say my niece and nephew are pretty young, and they're, I'd say like 3 to 4 up to 10. I've had 5th graders be interested in it.
Okay.
I didn't think that they would, but I went to an appearance at elementary school, and I was like, do you guys want to hear it? And they said, yeah, we would. And they loved it. So I definitely think it's case by case, but I'd say probably from like 4 to 10-ish.
So if someone wants to say, I want to get 100 books for the Boys Club of Miramar or Fort Lauderdale, how would they go about buying 100 books of the Not So Perfect Garden? Would they just go on Amazon?
Yes.
Or is there another way that perhaps you can make a little bit more money? What does the money go to?
Yes.
How can someone bulk purchase books and give them out to kids?
Yes, so you could either do Amazon, they're $10 each there, or if you purchase directly through me, I could give you a $2 discount because I get author copies. The only thing with that, though, is that they take longer for me to get them. They usually take about 2 to 3 weeks for me to get author copies versus Amazon is like a day. But whichever one, if you want to reach out to me again at that missflorida@missflorida.org email, I would love to connect with you. Or if this is after my crown is done and I'm just Paris again, my personal email is parisrichardson007@gmail.com.
Okay. So, folks, what else? What have I not asked you? You know, you are the third Miss Florida that we've had on, and I'm telling you, if you're employing people, if you ever have a chance to hire one of these young ladies, please do.
We work hard.
I know you want a career right now in health administration.
Yes.
So Stephanie Connors, who is the CEO of Baycare, if you're listening, you've been our guest before. You need to reach out to Paris and get an
Miss
interview with her,
Connors.
or Carrie, who's her administrative assistant, executive secretary. The program is just fantastic, and I am a big fan of it. I didn't have a daughter that went through it, but I kind of got brought into it later. And just from the outside looking in, it's wholesome. It's positive. Like you said, you've made friends that you'll have for the rest of your life. Now, not outside of Florida, now in the Miss America world. You've got kids who, that are looking up to you. What have I not asked you that you would have said, gosh, I really wish you'd have said this, Todd?
Honestly, I can't think of anything. I guess just going back to being a healthcare administrator, if anybody's out there who'd love to allow me to shadow them, or has a position that they're interested or I could be of interest to, I'd love to speak with. I am going to get another degree. We're still not 100% sure what I'm going to use it on yet. I was highly considering getting a law degree, and I'm also considering getting an MBA. I have my Master of Health Administration degree, and I'm like, maybe I should get a business degree instead if I'm going to go into healthcare administration. I don't know. It is a blessing to be this confused about the future.
Right. We have you have so many options to pick from.
I have some really...
Having options is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. And I keep praying about it, and I'm not 100% sure which degree I'm going to get yet, but I will be using that scholarship money, that extra, I think, $40,000 I have left over, to get one more.
That'll pay for 1 year of law school.
Yeah.
It depends on where you go.
Oh, I'm going to UF.
Of course. Well, my daughter went to law school, and my older brother. They all graduated from there. John Morgan and my older brother were roommates in law school and college, and a lot of their the lawyers that are at Morgan & Morgan are Gator
UF grads, yeah.
Yeah. So, Paris, I can't thank you enough for squeezing us into your schedule. I really
This
appreciate
wasn't a
it.
Squeeze.
I love the story about Gatorland, and I can't wait to see Keith's face on July 1st or whenever it is you show
We'll have
the
a sit
pictures.
down with them.
And let him see the pictures that I saw. And, I hope you enjoy the next 6 months of your life being Miss Florida, and, you take full advantage of it, because it's a wonderful opportunity for you. You've created wonderful opportunities for yourself. You're an incredible ambassador for the
you.
Miss Florida program, and for the mentor-mentee for University of Florida and all that. I can't offer you enough praise and wish you success in everything that you do. And thank you for coming in
Thank
and
you,
being on
Todd.
Todd's podcast. I was going
Yeah. It's an honor to be here. I had a good time too.
Eli, thank you. Appreciate you choking your way through this one. I know you're not feeling very good, but you gave 100% with only a 75% stamina today. So it was very good. I appreciate it. Eli is, we refer to him as the notorious ELI. A bit of a gangster around here. And if you want to buy some books, go to Amazon, go to Miss Florida.
Miss Florida at missflorida.org. I'm sorry.
Miss Florida at missflorida.org, and buy 100.
Yes.
And the proceeds will go to very worthy causes. Give them out to some kids at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and give them out to your own kids and your own grandkids. So, Paris, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being a wonderful ambassador.
Thank you for having me.
I've enjoyed getting to know you better. I hope we can continue this, and go Gators.
Go Gators.
Thank you for listening to Todd's podcast. This has been your host, Todd Dantzler. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to Todd's podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you have any questions for me, suggestions for future guests, or are interested in sponsorship opportunities for our podcast, please just fill out the contact form on my website, todddantzler.com. I look forward to hearing your questions and feedback, and please take care.